First things first, I know I look like shit. Fucking, I was born this way, you know. Also, just got off work, so I'm tired. Now, I recorded a video the other day about two very similar guitars that I believe are trying to reach the same demographic, just with different executions. Okay, so I did a little overview of the Ibanez AZ242F and the Charvel DK24 2-point. I'm not going to go super in depth on the specs. If you need to know about that, just drop a comment. I can talk about that. That's going to make the video way too long, all right? And you can get that information from websites, from professional reviewers, whatever. This is what I want to make this video for, okay? And this is what took me like 7 minutes to get to in the other video, which is why I'm recording this one right now. My impressions as a player, okay? The Charvel, it feels and sounds and plays like a guitar made for somebody who wants a more versatile, more traditional kind of guitar, but they have a background and a primary interest in metal. That's where they got their technique. That's where they got their playing aesthetics, you know. And if you've gotten the chance to play one of these, or are just familiar with what Charvel's coming out with lately, they kind of feel like Jacksons. They feel like Dinkies, but with a little bit more traditional appointments and less of an explicitly metal aesthetic to the finishes. Just the way it sounds, like I forget what pickup they put in the bridge. I've already changed out this the next single because it was completely lifeless. I fucking hated it. It probably sounds good under a lot of drive, but I don't use a ton of drive in my sound. This pickup here, it's like the reverse of a JB. It's got a downward scoop. It's scooped. But that's not the point. Point is, it's a great guitar, all right? Sub $1,000, technically $999. You could do a lot worse, and I honestly don't think that you're going to do much better. It's just so well put together. It plays well. The fretwork is exquisitely done. The nut is cut perfectly. Like, I haven't had issues with binding. It's a great guitar. And now, compared to this guitar, the Ibanez, it is such a disappointment. And let me explain what I mean when I say that. I love this guitar. I didn't think I would like it. I honestly thought the gradient finish, like every time I saw a picture of it, I was like, this looks fucking horrible. But in real life, it's pretty attractive. It's very well done. Kudos to them for that. The neck profile, unlike the Charvel's thin C, the neck on this is kind of like a medium U, or like a D with shoulders, you know. Think of the Ibanez Wizard profile, not the original Wizard, but like the Wizard 3, the Super Wizard, and think of how those neck profiles have shoulders, and just make that a little bit thicker, and that's the AZ's neck profile. It's very comfortable. I like it a lot. You know, you can get your runs off. You know, it plays well, and I give Ibanez credit for that. This is what they need. This is the direction Ibanez needs to go in to stay relevant, like they always have. You know, to reach out to that modern player. But here's where they fucked up, and here's why this is such a disappointment. The fretwork. It suffers from the same problems that a lot of Indonesia. Well, no. Let's wind that back. It suffers from the same problems that a lot of guitars from Ibanez in general, from the Geo line all the way up to Prestige, that I personally have experienced and owned and played, suffer from. And that is consistent quality control with the neck and the frets. Guys, I can't tell you how frustrated I am with this instrument because I love this guitar. It's great. I don't want to return it because I'm kind of bonding with this guitar, but I can't get it to play the way I need it to play without taking it to a luthier to have it leveled and re-crowned, the frets. And that's disappointing because that was kind of the appeal of this guitar for me. I've had other guitars with stainless, I've had Parker Flies and Night Flies, and I love those guitars, but they were just a little bit too aggressive in the aesthetics and the style for me, and the sound, and so I didn't really bond with them. But this guitar, like the body, the contours are so comfortable. The neck profile, it's not what you expect. It is not thin, but you can do whatever you need to do on it. The pickups, the Hyperion pickups, they're exactly what I like in a good pickup. Nice and even, but with a nice little hump in the mids. Warm, clear, and they sound great in all of the switching. I'm not gonna go through all that, but the frets just they're not level. They're not level with one another, and that creates problems. And on this instrument specifically, it's on the 17th fret. You might not be able to hear that, but you can feel it. And when you're not playing with a lot of drive, you can hear it. And that takes you out of playing, especially, when the note dies. I kind of have it set up to where it's within the range of playability that I find acceptable, but it's not optimal. On the Charvel, I have the action sub 0.5 millimeters, and it can go lower. I can't play with it lower than that. That's too low. On the Ibanez, I believe it's a little bit over 1 millimeter on the low E, and I keep it uniform across relative to the string size. So it's disappointing that I can't set it up the way I like. And also the nut slots are cut too high, and that presents problems too. Just little things like that keep this from really being the absolute beast that it can be. And that's why I can't recommend that anybody buy one of these AZ Premium sight unseen. I want to go out on a limb and say you can definitely trust buying a Prestige. Like it probably won't have such just fucking blatant, just horrendous issues. And it might sound like I'm nitpicking, but you guys who know, you people who know what it's like to have a guitar with just one fret that has a wolf note or a dead note or whatever, it's incredibly frustrating. And it's just disappointing that Ibanez would put so much into this, their flagship line. And I know that the Prestige is the actual flagship, but more people are going to have these AZ Premiums in their hands. And more people are going to potentially wind up disappointed at having their $1,300 dropped on something with so many flaws. And I'm not that particular, guys. Like my main instruments for years have been a beat to hell classic player Strat and this 1989 Paul Reed Smith CE24. I don't know, something about that Paul Reed Smith fretwork. I've never owned a Paul Reed Smith that ever didn't play well, It never had problems that I experienced with a lot of Ibanez instruments. Like I said, from Geo to Prestige. I've never played a J Custom, so I can't speak on that. So, I think I fucked up again, and I've made this video much too long, but the main point is this, okay? If you're looking at both of these instruments, and you're thinking, which one should I buy? Consider what your playing background is. Okay, I'd say the Charvel is more for your fusion player or your guitarist, your modern player who is a little bit more about the metal, hard rock styles. Whereas the AZ, it's more for, just go on the list of endorsees. You know, you got Martin Miller, you got Tom Quayle, you got the Chon guys. You know, very versatile instruments. But to not grand slam it, hit it out of the park with each instrument, it's a disappointment. And I'm not saying that when you spend $1,300 is a lot of money. Okay, I don't care where you are financially. $1,300 is not nothing. However, it's not the most expensive guitar you can get. So I'm not saying a $1,300 guitar cannot have flaws, but it needs to be able to play perfectly. It needs to be able to not have issues with playability. This guitar, like I said, sub $1,000, perfect playability, excellent instrument, and I would recommend buying one of these 100% sight unseen over the AZ premiums. But if my particular AZ did not have the issues it has, this would be one of the best guitars that I ever owned. So I guess that's it. You know, those are my impressions. And like I said, I'm not very particular. There's tool marks all over the fretboard. I don't care about that. You know, as long as the fretwork is on point and the body is comfortable and ergonomic, I'm gonna love the guitar. Hopefully this video helps you. Watch this video and the other video on my channel about these two instruments. And like I said, if you need actual information about the specs of these guitars, I can give you that in a comment or in the description, whatever. Or I can just do a proper review at some point when I have time. But for now, that's all. Ta-ta.